Does that say continue recording? I can't see. Oh, I hate this camera.
It's on.
Is it focused?
No. That is. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, happy Funday Sunday.
It does look foggy to me, but I could,
Yeah.
because I don't have glasses.
It's all right. That's where to go what we're up to right now. So, can everyone hear me okay?
Hello,
Good morning. Yeah, nice. All right.
ladies.
I see you. Do you see me? Nice. To get started today, we're gonna come all the way, we're gonna take a big trip all the way to the back of our mats. We're gonna bring our feet to the edges of the mat, turn our toes in slightly to get started. We're gonna start some slow rhythmic movement of the hips, moving from left to right. Slowly moving across, and as we start that warming through the hip joints, I'd like you to kind of explore a little bit in terms of the width of your pushes from side to side. And then we're going to progress this movement pattern by starting to circle back, pushing back deeply, folding forward as your butt makes the traverse across from left to right. As you push forward, I like to engage the six-pack muscle and drive that hip out to the side. And we're going to go right side, push, hip drives, stomach engaged all the way across and continue circling just before we stop at center and reverse it the opposite way. I'm gonna put my hands on hip just to kind of make it look like I got a hula competition going on. And
You win.
you win, exactly. Make a couple more circles, explore the range of the diameter, if you want to call it that, if you're more mathematically inclined. And then coming back center, keeping hands on hips. We're gonna start with a little bit of external rotation of the heels. So I'd like you to turn the toes in ever so slightly. And then I'd like you to try to rotate the heels out and away from the body. And it's more to activate, as you know, the spot, right? You're gonna feel it up and around the side of the hips. As we keep that active, we're gonna start chopping through the hips. What I mean by chops, I'd like you to keep the legs strong and keep that external rotation effort of the heels as you fold forward, folding with spine elongated and enjoying some nice lengthening through the gluteals. Probably feel it down into the hamstrings. So we start to get some blood flow into those muscles. Be prepared, we're gonna be working them today. Let's hold it down. Holding down, try to increase the range of depth there. Now, depth can be achieved by flexing the spine. I want you to try to avoid that. Spine long and then hip hinging. Drive your legs straight and take the ball of each big toe and push it into the mat. And as you hold that external rotation of the heels, I'd like you to rise back up. And then shake out the legs. There we go. All right, let's step the right foot forward, left foot remaining back. We're on the toes of that back foot. We're gonna just kind of seesaw forward and back, moving forward by bending the knees and moving backwards by bending the knees. So I'd like you to bend and extend the front, flex and extend the back. So it's kind of like a reciprocal saw, if you will. Sawing forward and back, holding onto that balance. Yeah, this is where balance related work, can you tell? So bending both, extending both. Find that pattern. It's a little new, so your body might take a little bit of effort to discover what we're looking for. And now let's hold it back, step the back foot forward, set up the opposite side, and begin to saw back and forth. So bend and extend, bend and extend, bend and extend. You got the motion, continue with it. You might notice that one side's balance is a little better than the other. That's perfectly normal. All right, now step that back foot forward. Have those legs all nice and warmed up, sweep your arms up to the sky. Get the orientation of the arms slightly in front, so we're not trying to ratchet back or throw back or extend back unnecessarily for the spine. Separate your fingers widely, palms are facing each other. Now, imagine the fingers are pulling arms, shoulders, maybe even that upper spine of yours towards the sky. Take a big inhale. As you release the breath, relax the arms down and sweep out to the side. Palms have turned into face, keeping the fingers separated nice and widely. Draw the shoulders up to the ears and spiral open the palms so they face forward and bend both elbows slightly. Pull the elbows posteriorly, pulling them backwards, getting that nice opening through the chest, keeping that nice proud chest. With your baby fingers having a little bit of a touch on your hips, draw the elbows back a little more and try to spiral open those thumbs ever so slightly more. Hold on this as we chop through the hips and fold halfway down or whatever your best version of it is. Try to keep the elbows high and pull back for the whole range of motion down and up. On the next step down, let the arms release down, let your spine flex and enjoy a little bit of lengthening. I can hear some those are always good sounds. As you work to straighten your legs, keep that ball of each big toe connected to your mat, push it into the mat as a matter of fact. When you create that push, try to straighten the legs ever so slightly more, draw the hips back. As you fill the lungs, inhale, extend to a flat back. And as you exhale, fold it down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Keep those legs driving straight as you can for this whole range of extension and flexion of your spine. As you inhale, extend, hold on that extension. Bend both knees, let the butt lower down and step your forearms up onto your thighs. Kind of like a ski jumper, ready to go off that jump. I'd like you to hold on this, and while you're holding on this, I'd like you to try to take or initiate an external rotation of the heels. So as you hold that isometric activation, I'd like you to drive the legs straight and let the upper body fold. Keep the forearms on the thighs. Keep the external rotation in the heels. As you try to seat your rear end, and try to keep that external rotation as we oscillate between the high and low position with our butts making the movement happen. It's almost like a little bit of a massage of sorts for those external hip muscles as we lengthen and shorten them. Hold it down, bring your palms onto your thighs, and then push your chest forward, make it nice and proud. Draw those shoulders back, make the neck your pull point. Imagine you've got two hands around the top of your head, pulling the neck long, chest proud, stand tall, arms salute the sun, separate the fingers widely, sweep the palms together, interlock the fingers, and then lower everything shoulder height. Nice. Now, there's many different ways to interlock. I like you to try to get palm to palm, fingers interlocked, and keep the palms connected. Now, as you keep that nice connection, I'd like you to take your legs and separate them wider than your mat. And I want you to look down at your feet before we continue. So if you have an external rotation thing going on in the foot, in other words, if the toes are angling out, I'd like you to angle them sort of straight forward. Now, as we keep that straight, I'd like you to kind of chop stick, like try to pull the two legs together and get some inner thigh muscle activation. As you keep those palms connected, I'd like you to try to chop through the hips and fold as much forward, but try to maintain two things: the pull of the legs together and the squeeze the palms with interlocked fingers. Come back up, hold up, relax everything for a second. And then we're going to do this a couple more times. So this is really a hip impingement exercise. It helps to kind of get these joints more active with the inner or medial muscles. As we come back into it, extend the arms long, squeeze those legs together as best you can. Keep the spine long, the neck relaxed, head's growing out of the body. And then come back up and relax. You're starting to develop a little perspiration, I get it, this is a big exercise, a lot of muscle. We're gonna come back to it, third, final time, squeeze the legs, interlock and extend. Try to pull with the hands, make that whole upper body long. All right, now, as we come back up this time, we're gonna make a little progression. Relax the hands, shake up the arms. We're gonna draw the elbows back and face the palms up to the sky. Separate the fingers nice and wide. Now, same kind of activation. I'd like you to try to draw back this time the weight so it's mostly in the heels, and then pull both the heels together. And as you keep that heel pulling, heel weighted type of sensation, I'd like you to chop a little bit, keeping the spine long, neck long. Now, we're gonna bring the forearms together out in front. So baby fingers, forearms connect, and we're gonna push all of that arm carriage forward. As you squeeze and extend. Squeeze the legs, extend the arms, and then draw back, trace the ribs with your elbows, bring those elbows all the way back as you stand nice and tall. So this is our motion, this is our 1 point, extending and folding to the other point. Very important to keep that internal pull of the legs and external push forward of the arms. Trace back. And then we're gonna do it one more time, 3 times the charm today. That's our reps. We're like, how much or how many times extending forward for my 3rd time, some of us next to me may have already done their 3rd, but it's fine, you can do a 4th. No penalties. Drawing back, standing tall, shaking things out. Got those inner thighs all done. Wow, I feel like I'm walking straight all of a sudden. Now we're gonna bring both feet to the edges of the mat. We're gonna take our our toes and turn them outward from the heels. So with me, my heels are on the mat, toes are off. We're gonna bring a little bit of stability to the spinal column before we start our descent. So this is like a modified sumo. I'd like you to take your belly and engage it. Make your chest proud. I'm gonna start with hands on hips. And to descend, I'm just gonna simply push my knees out over my toes and lower down. Now the range of motion is where we're gonna explore a little bit. High point is the high point, we can't go higher than the high point. That's why it's called the high point. But the low, I'd like you to kind of get down into it and raise back up. Now joint mobility is what we're focusing on here and stabilizing through the whole range of motion. And it's important as we create depth, we do it with stability. So if you're splaying out, folding in with the legs, I'd like you to try to garner better control through the whole range of motion, all the way down as far as you can go, and then slowly back up. Make the descent very much controlled. Down, get as low as you can, and then raise back up. And you might notice, after a few repetitions, the range down increases a little bit. That's good, because we're really lengthening out a lot of muscles that get shortened as we sit. Now I'm gonna bring my fingertips to the earth. We're gonna hold down on this for a couple seconds. While we're holding here, I'd like you to proud up the chest. Bring as much weight back into the heels, so grip the whole body back. And then slowly fold forward as you push your hips to the sky. Step your toes to face straight forward. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, fold back down. Bring hand to opposite elbow. And hang out for a couple breaths. Like all good things that must come to an end, here we go again. Let your fingers descend to the earth. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension, straighten out those legs. Keep the back in extensions, legs straight. Draw back your booty and weight into the heels. Hold on this as you walk your fingers forward.
Just like the yellow pages, fingers are doing the walking. Inhale, keep the extension, exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up.
Kind of like you're stacking each vertebrae of your spine as you salute the sun. Separate your fingers nice and widely. As you exhale, release the arms to the side. Palms turn into face. Shoulders draw up. Palms now flip open to face forward, keeping those fingers nice and wide. Draw the elbows backwards. Beautiful. Pulling them backwards, pulling them back and up. Now, if you're tensioning through the neck, I'd like you to keep that area relaxed. This is all about shoulder mobility and upper spine strengthening. So we're really trying to work our scapula. So I'd like you to take now palms that are facing forward and keep the elevation of your elbows the same. And I'd like you to try to pin the elbows onto the rib cage and swing open the hands slowly. And then just come back forward. And then open. I'm going to do it from the side so you kind of get a gist where we are. We're just keeping the elbows pinned on the ribs. And the arms are articulating out and in. External rotation out, internal rotation in. Arms squeeze. Now hold out the hands, extend out the arms. All the way, shoulder height. Imagine there's fingers of yours are pulling the arms nice and long. And then pull the elbows slowly back into the rib cage. Internally rotate, externally rotate, extend out, hold out. We're going to add on. Now, palms are facing the sky, which means our thumbs are facing backwards. Pull with the fingers, make those arms nice and long, and then pull with the thumbs and drift those arms back a little more. See if you can kind of open a little more through the chest. And then draw those elbows back into the body. Now I'm holding my arms, forearms, but elbow height. I'd like you to lower down a little bit. About a 45-degree off with a 90-degree if your elbows were at 90. And while you hold on to that, I'd like you to proud up the chest and then use your thumbs to pull the hands backwards a little more. Nice. Now, fold it in. Keep the opening in the elbow the way you had it as you open and close. So slightly different angle through the elbow, not 90 now. A little less than 90, a little greater actually. Depends on which 90 you're talking about. Now, on the next one, hold it out, keep the chest nice and proud. As you inhale, pull the arms long, hold long. Exhale, hold long. Inhale, sweep to the sky. Exhale, lower down, shoulder height. Elbows pull in. We've got some range of motion going on here. Lower those forearms below elbow height. Open. Come back together. Extend out the arms. Sweep them up to the sky. Lower them shoulder height. Elbows draw in. Forearms lower greater than 90. Palms face the sky as you draw back the hands. Come back to the side body. Extend all the way out. Sweep all the way up to the sky. I know a lot of movement going on. As you exhale, fold this time. All the way down. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, release back down. Inhale, extend. Hold the extension, drift that booty back. Give me some weight bearing into those heels. Straighten out those legs. Make an effort to push the ball of each big toe into the mat. Make those legs a little straighter. Make that spine a little longer. Drift back a little deeper into those heels. And as you take your next breath and release it, fold it all the way down. Walk it out to plank. All right, so plank. Good opportunity now to see if you need a mani or not going to go with a penny with that because you can't see your feet hopefully. All right, so in our push-up position, we're going to hold on this for a couple of breaths before we drive the heels backwards. I'd like you to push with your arms, keep the legs straight, keep your spine straight, and keep engaged through your abdomen as you draw the hips backwards and upwards.
to down dog. So you should feel a nice pull through those lower leg muscles. We're gonna push up onto the toes, drive the heels to the earth. And the only thing really articulating is the ankle, so try to keep everything else not necessarily locked down, but from going and increasing the angle. It's all about the angle and the ankle getting greater and then lesser as we drive the heels up and down. And then hold down the heels and return your upper body back into your plank pose. And then come back to down dog, drive the heels. See if they have a little opportunity to go a little deeper or closer to the mat if they're not presently on it. Come back, heels driving down through the whole range of motion here. And last time, heels drive, hips pull back and up. And then lower both knees down onto the mat. And step both hands under your shoulders. We have a nice wide base and the hands, fingers are widely separated. I'd like you to take an opportunity now to kind of push through the earth and bring elevation to your torso. So you're not sitting in between the arms right now. The shoulder joints per se are a little forward in the body. So now we're going to sink down the chest and that rotation through the shoulder blades. We're going to work on that a little bit, pushing up and out and then lowering back down. And we're going to progress this a little and a couple more repetitions. Just wait. So this is not a lot of effective work. We're going to be adding the effective work on in another couple reps, a few more reps. Now, the next progression is spinal flexion. So let's push up and then flex the spine. Imagine you got a string tied up. I want you to try to tuck under at the pubis, let the head fall, and get as much arching, just like a big cat, right? So this is really kind of our cat pose. Now I'd like you to flip the cat, tail of the cat, take the back of the head to the sky, and then let the chest push through the arms. Elbows are rotating internally. They're not locked though, right? We're not stacking weight in those elbow joints. I'd like you to have nice active triceps. I want you to feel those muscles work. As we come back to the cat, tail tucks under and head relaxes down, center of spine, pulling nicely to the sky. As you fill the lungs, flip the tail, pull the back of the head to the sky, and sink down into those arms. Now hold on this as you take your right hand and bring it forward. And then return it back to the earth. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Extend the left arm. So we're giving our wrists a little bit of a break. Left and right. And then let's center it again, coming back onto all fours. Now, I want you to register something when we make the next movement, which is the same movement we were just doing. We rehearsed the pattern, but now I want you to create some awareness. So when you extend the arm forward, did your hips shift to the side? Let's try it. Push the arm forward. If you shift it left or right, I want you to be aware of what you're doing. Switch it to the opposite side and walk the hands from side to side. And as we do this, I want you to try to mitigate or reduce any kind of side shifting. So you have nice stabilization, lateral stabilization, as we make an alternation of the arms extending. And then on the next rep, as everyone meets back on all fours, back to our cat. Head drops, tail tucks under, and we pull the center of the spine to the sky. Now you're going to hold this as we bring a little bit of stretch into it. And the stretch is simply keeping the spine in flexion as we draw the hips back towards the heels. Feel a nice, hopefully nice pull through that low back region. Now, we're going to drift back in our cat pose and then flip the tail and pull the back of the head to the sky, sink the chest, keep the chest sunk as you draw the hips back towards the heels this time. And then come back forward. Give me that cat, tail tuck, head lower, and draw back with that flexion in the spine. And then drift forward. Alter the spine and draw that version backwards. And bring it forward. Give you another cat. Lift it back. Come back forward, and last part of the sequence, drop that chest down, flip the tailbone and back ahead to the sky, drift back, come back onto all fours, great job. Sweep the legs forward. Are we? All right. Good morning, everybody. Good to see your nice, bright, shiny faces. I'm gonna bring our legs out to staff pose. And we're gonna flex the feet and rotate them in towards the center line of the body. So we have heels driving, toes pulling in towards the shin, and legs rotated internally. As we hold on that, I'd like you to give me a nice, proud chest and bring hands over heart. Now, if you feel the outside thigh muscles a little active here, good stuff. That's what we're trying to get. Now, I'd like you to rotate in a little more, push with the heels. So you have that extra effort pushing the heels out as we internally rotate. And then we're going to externally rotate with the heels pushing out and open up as wide as you can. Try not to bend for the knees. Try not to collapse through the chest. Keep nice and proud. Heel driving, toe turning, in and out, hands over heart. You might notice some shaking going on through certain parts of the range of the movement. That's fine. That's your nervous system going. I'm a little nervous about this, but this is all a good movement. So, all right. I'm going to hold in and then fold forward. I'd like you to take the hands on the outside of the feet. Pull the feet in towards you and try to rotate the feet into the center line of the body. So inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, extend, almost like you're in unhinging, but we're being impeded by our arms grip, our hands grip around the foot. Flex it, extend the spine, pull that internal rotation, pull the feet in a little more towards you if you can. Put your thumbs on the big toes and then try to pull the big toes in towards the top of the foot. Keep the external rotation in those feet. Keep those legs nice and long as you inhale, extend the spine, route out the chest. Fill those lungs with air. Exhale, fold down, let everything relax. You can shake out those legs if you need or want to. And when you're ready, come back into staff pose. Holding on staff pose, nice. Now, make sure you're on your sit bones. Yep, they're there. How about you?
They're there.
They're there, all right. With that, I'd like to make a nice effort to flex the spine, kind of give in and let everything just kind of hang out. And then from this, we're going to start building the strength and stability. So I'd like you to take your chest and push it forward as you experience the growth of the spinal column. I want you to imagine you've got a string pulling the top of the head towards the sky and finding that nice elongation of all of your spinal column, hollowing out the belly and bringing hands over hearts. As we sit in staff pose, we're going to add in some more work for those hip flexors that we've already got working presently. I'd like you to kind of keep tall, chest proud, and drift backwards. So we're opening the angle slightly between legs and the upper body, right through the hips. And I'd like you to keep spine long and fold forward without flexion in the spine. So I'm not worried about how low you go. I'm worried about how controlled you are in the spinal column. Proud through the chest, and then range of motion second. So keep the chest proud, come back up to seated, and then lower back, spine straight. As far as you can go, and then all the way forward. So we're kind of like a seesaw, one direction, slowly back to the other. Key of this exercise is maintaining spinal stability, spine nice and long, folding forward, and then coming all the way back, as far back as you can go without falling backwards. And
holding on this, extending the arms forward, overlapping the toes and pulling them in towards the shins. I'm keeping my spine nice and long. If you felt your quadriceps a little bit on fire, maybe just one of the central muscles there, good stuff. That was a lot of work, flexing and extending. You can shake it out if you need to, and extend the spine as best you can. Keep the spine extending as you crowd out the chest. You'll notice you have a little more extension with that spinal column, and make sure you're not compressing through the neck. All right, nice. Now, see if you can try to lift the heels up off the earth. So it's extension through the knees, and as the heels come up, I like you to try to make a little bit of extra effort to pull the toes in towards the shins. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, relax everything, come down onto your backside, shake out your legs, great job. Oh, yeah. This is not nap time for Tuesday. All right, so we're gonna start with a figure 4. In this version of it, we're gonna put our left foot on the earth. I'm gonna bring our right ankle up and onto our thigh. And then we're gonna just simply practice a little bit of stabilization of the upper body. I'd like you to kind of rock the hips from side to side, and then find your center spine as best you can on the mat. Now, pelvic rocking forward. When you rock forward the pelvis, when you come up onto your tailbone, you can almost feel the skin of the low back lift off your mat. And then reversing that is what I'd like you to try to be mindful to do. So once you've got that reversed, I'd like you to hold on that. And then we're gonna articulate the legs. So I'd like you to bring a little push of that right foot into the left thigh. And I'd like you to try to open or close in that right knee towards the center line of the body. If you have limited mobility, you might already be there. Now we're going to work on the external rotation. I'd like you to push the right ankle into that left thigh and try to slowly open the right knee. And as you do all this, I'd like you to try to maintain that stable spine, low back. It's that sensation of the skin is all I'm really talking about. You've got it all under control. Great job. Keep going. Do as many reps as actually, it's not a speed related thing, but don't stop repping this up. Just slowly out. See if the out can be increased even fractionally, and then slowly back in, and then out on the next time. Hold it. Try to rotate it a little more. Try to use your hand this time on your thigh to kind of assist a little bit of little more external rotation. And then relax that. Shake out that right leg. Extend it all the way straight. Get a nice stretch through that hip flexors, or the hip flexors on that right leg. Point the toes. Take your right hand above your head. Fingers and toes are that right side of the body. Pull opposite direction. So that nice length for that whole right side body. And then reset up for the opposite side. Left foot up. And here we go. A little bit of pelvic rock. Rock it out. Rock that pelvis back. Get that low skin and neck, low back skin connected. As you initiate the push of the left foot into the right thigh, draw that left knee into the center line. Keep the push into that shin as you externally rotate that left knee, and slowly oscillate between the out and the in, making sure that you do not lose that connection of that skin of the low back. I want you to feel it for the whole range of motion. Keep that left foot flexed. I have a habit of always wanting to extend it. It helps kind of anchor. Now hold it out. Try to give it a little bit of extra effort to get a little more rotation. Use the left hand on that left thigh and try to push out a little more. And then relax that. Bring that left leg down. Extend it all the way out. Take the left hand upwards. Fingers and toes, pull opposite direction, get a nice lengthening from that left side.
As you fill the lungs with air, bring both knees up and into the chest and grab a hold of the kneecaps and rock and roll front to back into a seated position. Nice. Sorry, all those schmutz in my eye. There. Now, we're gonna come to a figure 4 on this with the right leg extending forward this time. Find a nice position of the left foot. Now, angling, I'd like you to try to find a good pelvic basis here. So I want you to not be lifted on one side or the other. I want you to rotate the shoulders where you can get the hips, both sides, the sit bones on your mat. So your hips have a nice solid base. Whatever that is, whatever that shoulder direction is, I'd like you to keep that shoulder direction. You're basically gonna be square to the hips. Bring your hands out in front. I'm gonna walk forward with a slight angulation. So the leg is angling away from the body or the side body. I like you to hold on this. And then walk your fingers forward, straight forward a little more. And then walk back in. Now, when you walk up this time, I want you to be mindful of that right hip. If it pulls up off the earth, I don't want you to extend beyond that. I want you to try to keep that right hip anchored. And then walk back up. And then one more time, walk back out, hip anchored. Nice. Now, hold the anchor, take your left hand, bring it out beside the body. And then walk that right hand a little more forward. Use the left hand to push to the right. So you're pushing off of that left hand as the right hand walks forward. And then walk everything back in. Switch up sides. Same thing. Hitting on your sit bones, making sure both of them are connected to the mat, squaring your shoulders to the orientation of the hip. Hands beginning that walk forward. And similarly with that right side stretch we were doing, I want you to be mindful of that left ischium or sit bone. If it pulls, try to back off a little or try to rotate down. Try to use your hip rotation muscles. Actually, it's more lateral, but in any event. Use the muscles that interact with the hip to help keep that sit bone down as you walk back in the hands, keeping chest proud, spine long, and then do a few more iterations. I say iterations because each version may be a little bit different than the previous. You might find a little more depth. Walk back in on this one, we're going to bring that right arm and post it out. And then we're going to walk the left hand straight forward, pushing with the right, pulling with that left. If we walk that left hand more and more, and then walking back in, taking your legs and sweeping them all the way behind you. And coming onto all fours. There we go, folks. Now, I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to step it in between my hands. So I'm framing the foot with my hands. Now, if you need cushioning for your knees, you can please, feel free to grab a towel or whatever you need. I'm going to just use my mat cushion right now. This knee's not so bad. And I'm going to just let my upper body kind of sit on top of that right thigh. And you might feel like a little bit of muscle tension through that right hip, maybe the internal or medial muscles. We're going to work on this a little bit by drifting forward with the knee as we keep that nice connection of the upper body, the chest basically on the thigh. I'm going to drift backwards and bring straightness to the leg as best we can. So the toes remain flexed. And that foot alights upon the floor, the knee pushes forward while we maintain that nice connection. Now, on the forward pull, we can walk forward with the hands and keep the heel of that right foot grounding and feel a nice stretch through the gastroc or the calf muscle. And then we can walk backwards. So the knee is really what's worked here as we open it, it's extension through that joint. And as the knee pushes forward, it's flexion through that joint. It's good for our quadriceps. Knees and flexion help those muscles lengthen out. Come all the way back. One more time. I'm gonna add a little progression to this. We do a few more reps. On this forward motion, I'd like you to drive the heel, extend the spine, crowd out the chest, take your right arm, reach it up beside the body, and then open the right shoulder to the sky as you pull that left leg of yours into the center line of your body, lower down, drift it back. So it's basically the same exercise with one component added in. You know what it is, because we're back at it. Open. Oh. I'm going to do one more repetition before we switch sides. Are we okay?
Just have a cramp in the shoulder.
All right, and then I'm going to switch up sides. Lowering down, pushing forward, pushing that right knee if we needed to, extending back. You might notice on the subsequent repetitions that your opening through that leg is able to be increased. And you can kind of like push a little bit, use some sanity to get more open, which almost straight with that leg. I'm going to do one more rep before we add on to this. As we come forward this time, left arm sweeps out, left shoulder opens to the sky, lower back down, and drift it backwards. Do a couple more reps on your own recognizance. All right, now hold with both hands down, step that left foot back into plank pose. Draw the hips up and back to down dog. Pull the tailbone to the sky as you come up onto your tippy toes. Pull the tailbone to the sky as you drive the heels to the earth. Keep those heels driving to the earth as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Distribute the weight equally within the foot as you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, fold back down. As you inhale, unfold, sweep to the sky. Hold up as you drop hold the upper body up as you drop the elbows down, shoulder height. Palms are facing forward, separate those fingers almost like you're in a hold up. That's why I said hold up. Now draw the elbows backwards, expand out through the chest. And then we're gonna slowly bring them together right in front. And then open all the way back up. We're just gonna finish with a nice stretch for our shoulders. Sweeping forward and backward. We're keeping the elbows in the same plane, same height as the shoulders. As we open and close, we're gonna hold open this time. And we're gonna take our palms and we're gonna sweep them backwards. So they're still facing forward. We're just taking the back of the hands and pulling back. And then we're gonna keep the palms, same orientation as we elevate the elbows and let the palms sweep downward. Now, if you've given me this tension, I want you to relax. I want you just to focus on the interior and exterior rotation of the arms, whatever you got. And then hold it up, shoulder height, palms are facing the earth. Straighten those arms all the way out. Bring those thumbs into the shoulders and extend back up. I know this is a lot of work for those shoulders. You might feel a little fatigued. It's all good. Chest is proud. Shoulders are pulling back. Fingers hold out now. Pull, 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 pull. And then relax, shake it out. Good job. Now, almost done for the day. I'm going to come to the front part of the mats. You don't know that time. We've got time we haven't even used that. We're going to come to the front of our mats.
We're gonna bring our feet a little wider, or actually to the edges of the mat. And then we're gonna take our left hand, and we'll bring it down onto the right thigh, slide it over the kneecap, and bring it all the way down to the outside of that foot. Now as you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, fold back down. Put both hands on your thighs, one vertebrae at a time, stacking up onto each other. Draw the shoulders back, switch it over to the right hand. Slide it down that left thigh, outside of that left leg. Legs are straight. Are you pushing the legs straight? And you're really kind of pulling long with the arm, coming back square, stacking each vertebrae as you come up. Great job, everybody. Let's salute the sun one more time. Pull high to the sky. Exhale, relax the arms, shake it out. And let's bring hands over heart and say thank you for joining us today. Namaste.
Woo-hoo. Good job. That was hard.
Hello, thank you. That was good.